Welcome back to Move It Fix Monday. I'm Dr. Ryan DeBell from the Move It Fix. Let's talk this week about the single-legged deadlift. I have a few reasons why I use the single-legged deadlift. I can use it to increase somebody's sort of active range of motion in their hamstring, so basically a loaded hamstring stretch that they learn how to control. That's one reason I could use it. I can use it for preparation or sort of motor control integrated into deadlifting. That's something I talk about in my workshop in terms of how to use that. I could also use it in terms of rehabbing somebody's hamstring strain. But what we're going to talk about in this video is how to do it. And then primarily we're going to talk about it as a way to control your range of motion through your hamstrings. So whenever I do any sort of deadlifting or single-legged deadlifting, I always teach somebody to use a dowel on their back first. And the dowel will be touching 3 points on the back. So it would look like this. Dowel's on the back, one hand is above the head, the other hand is back here like this. It's going to touch the back of my head, between my shoulder blades, and then down just above the belt or below the belt line. And you can see down here at my waist, my index finger is monitoring the contact point right here, and my thumb is in this little gap. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand on one leg. I'm going to make sure the stick has 3 points of contact on my back, and I'm going to go down as far as I can into the single-legged deadlift without losing the 3 points of contact. And as soon as I get to basically as deep as I can, I'm going to come back up at that point. So that's basically what it looks like, but I want to show you the main issues that people have with this movement. And the first one is they don't let the leg that's up in the air, they don't bring it up to the ceiling far enough. And so it looks like this. They go here and they keep this leg down. And so they end up kind of doing this. And they think they have a neutral spine. They think they have a strong back position, but the stick does not lie. And so if we lose those 3 points, we know that we lost that position. So if you think about it like this, I'm going to go as deep into sort of this hamstring stretch position as I can. But because I'm standing and I'm going under motion and under load, I'm doing more than just stretching my hamstring. I am teaching my brain how to control this range of motion under load so that I don't just stretch something out and then it's loose, but I take something through a range of motion and make myself strong through the full range of motion. So once I do that and I kind of master it with the dowel, I will progress to using weight. And I think I have 53 pounds here. So when we start putting weight in our hands, we have to consider a few things. Number one, which hand is the weight in versus which leg am I standing on? So if the weight were in my right hand, I'd be standing on my left leg, because that provides me clearance for the weight, versus if it was in the same hand, same leg, I would run into myself. That's component number one. Component number two is, what do I do with the shoulder? A lot of times people let the weight pull them around, and you should be pulling the weight around versus the weight pulling you around. So for example, somebody descends and they let the weight pull them and twist them like this. And that's a little bit of an issue, because what happens for that person is they are here, this is their spine, they bend forward, that weight pulls them, and it ends up twisting through their back. And one of the reasons, again, that I use the single-legged deadlift that I didn't mention earlier is for rotational control of the torso and the spine. So I want to make sure they keep that locked in. The other thing that can happen is when I have somebody lock their shoulder in, is that they will go down and then their arm will come all the way back here like this, versus kind of pointing straight down here. So it's sort of this little art of keeping the shoulder engaged but not locking it down. So here's what it looks like with the weight. So I'm going to pick this up like an athlete. I'm going to pick it up here, hold it in the right hand. The left hand is going to be out to the side. I'm going to make a fist to create stiffness. And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to descend as far as I can under control, and I'm going to come back up. That would be one rep. Now here's what it looks like when the person engages the shoulder too much. They lock it in here, and then the weight ends up being way back. And then here's what it looks like with the disengaged shoulder. They'll come down and the shoulder will just be soft, and they feel like they're doing something good, but it may not be the best thing to do with that technique. So those are the basics of how I teach the single-legged deadlift and what I use it for. So give it a shot. Make sure you start incorporating that and trying that out. I do it again a lot of times after I stretch my hamstrings or do some sort of straight leg raise drills. I will do the single-legged deadlift to prime myself to control my range of motion, and then of course I will try to take it into some sort of deadlift. So there's many applications. You have to know why you're using it so you can apply it correctly, but that's the single-legged deadlift. So hey, if you guys don't already follow the Move It Fix on Facebook, make sure to go to facebook.com the Move It Fix. You can also check me out on Instagram at the Move It Fix, and make sure to check out the workshops at themoveitfix.com/workshops. I'll see you guys next week.